Hello, folks. How y'all doing today? This is Lonzo, the Godfather of West Coast Hip Hop, and the editor of the Hub City Legend newspaper in the city of Compton. Me and my partner Kevin Collins started a new program, and it's based around mental health. It's called CLA. This is our second episode. We did one last week. If you haven't seen it, check out my YouTube channel or even my Facebook page. And today, Kevin brought us a guest. Kevin, I'm gonna give you the authority to introduce our guest today, Doc. Go right ahead.
Oh man, you got me nervous now because I don't want Bree to get mad at me. But this is Brina Robinson. She is with the YWCA, what I'll do is I'll let Bree give us more insight in regards to what she does at YWCA.
Go for it.
All right. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you, Lonzo, for giving me the opportunity to be on your TV show. My name is Brene Robinson, and I work for YWCA, Greater Los Angeles. And what I do is I work in the Sexual Assault Crisis Program. My title is Community Education Outreach Coordinator. And I've been with the organization for at least 2 years strong, but a total of 4 years. And that's what I'm here. I'm here to talk about sexual assault crisis and to provide resources.
I'm gonna say this because it's been a subject of mine. I've had a couple of meetings about this. And before I say that, no man at any point in time has the right to assault a woman. Let's get that straight first and foremost. I see a lot of sisters in Compton on Long Beach Boulevard, ladies of the night, let's put it like that. And I've heard of them having various issues with not only their employers, but their customers as well. How do you address something like that when I can't say they put themselves in that position, but they kind of put themselves in that position. And I know sisters, before I say something stupid, help me.
Well, nothing you're saying is stupid. A lot of us just have to get educated along the way and just remember to not be judgmental. It's really important to be able to provide that emotional support, but to also stay non-judgmental. And what we teach is that whatever happened to you is not your fault. Because a lot of times victims feel like it's their fault. Oh, if I would have did this, if I would have did this differently, this wouldn't have happened. If I wouldn't have worn this outfit, this wouldn't have happened. But really, you should be able to wear what you want to wear. And it doesn't matter what the circumstances are. It's not your fault. If you didn't give consent, like a yes, a strong yes, it means that it's just like what you said, sexual assault. And we just want people to know, like, you're not alone. So that's what I do. I go around giving presentations to employers because it does happen in the workplace. And it does. Sorry, my dogs are barking. But it happens everywhere. And it's like 80% from people that are not strangers in your life, people that you actually know.
I've heard that before. I've definitely heard that before. Now, how do you address working girls? I mean, I understand they're out there advertising, and I say this in no disrespect, but when you're out there fishing, when you fishing and you throw your line in the water, you don't know what kind of fish you're gonna pull on that line. And that being said, that way, when you out there trying to attract men, you don't know what kind of mentality of a man you're attracting, and I can't say you put yourself in that position, but you kind of it makes it hard. Again, before I say something stupid, it's just really difficult. I understand no means no. I understand all that, but it's just I would rather to see them not in that position. It would be a lot easier for a man, because from a man's perspective, we like what I want to say. We know it's wrong, but we understand why you did it. Okay, and I know that's the Chris Rock joke. Okay, we know it's wrong, but I understand what happened. So in that situation, is there anybody else that can be held responsible for that situation? I understand we do a lot of things we're not supposed to do, but sometimes, is there at any point in time, are there any mutual responsibility?
Uh, well, when you say working girls, you're talking about prostitution, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so a lot of times, a lot of people do prostitution because you want to make some money for your family or just for survival reasons. And then there's also human trafficking where you are like forced to get out on those streets. It could be your parents, selling sex,
Mm.
like basically selling sex with you for money. There's a lot of different reasons. But also when you're out there on the streets, eventually a lot of times it leads to other things like you're on drugs. Drugs were provided to you, alcohol was provided to you, a lot of things just to keep you um like keep you like I don't know the right word, but just to kind of keep, it's a power and control
Okay.
situation at all times. It's all about power and control. But human trafficking, as you know, is when you're not paid the amount that you were supposed to be getting paid at all. But there's also strippers, there's prostitution, there's all kinds of forms of sexual assault, sexual harassment, um, a lot. But at that point, to answer your question, whose fault is it?
Hmm.
To me, that's like the same way of asking, like, how long will it take for you to get out of your situation? And we have people that call the hotlines all the time that want to get out of a situation. And I'm talking about human trafficking or a relationship, because sometimes it's your partner. You can be sexually assaulted in a relationship. And then
Hmm.
sometimes people call in, and it could be a situation with a truck driver, where the whole situation is always vulnerability. Like, you need money, you don't have a job, you, you know, it could be anything. The person that you're with, the perpetrator has the power of the
Hmm.
account. You have to ask for the money. Um, I'm trying to tell you some situations without, breaking confidentiality of the calls,
I
but
understand. I understand.
I mean, I've had people come and talk to me in the grocery store. Like, they just came to me and started talking to me about their situations and had no idea where I worked or what I do. But I think I don't want to jump the gun with your questions, but I think the hardest part is to call and to follow through. That to me, I've seen as very hard. People, that's the hardest part, to actually, like, when someone else is on the other end, to stay on the phone and tell your story or say the help that you need. That's like been the hardest thing.
You know,
And
I've had situations in my personal life. First of all, I can't stand to see a woman being abused by anybody,
mhm,
and I've put on my Superman suit because I've had family members that was being handled roughly by their spouses. I put on my Superman suit,
mhm.
fly over there like Clark Kent, and the first thing they say is, "Don't hurt him." I gotta go. Don't hurt him. Don't hurt him. Wait a
You're
minute. You
talking
cry.
about the victim, right? Saying don't hurt the abuser.
Everybody crying. You crying. You got a black eye. The victim, the kids is crying, and the first thing you say to the rescuer is, "Don't hurt him." Now I got
Bree, I'm
go
sorry
ahead.
to cut you off, Alonzo. That's a good question.
Mhm.
What are some strategies that we can utilize when we get caught up in those type of situations where we see somebody getting abused and they seem to want to protect the perpetrator?
Right.
What are some things that we can strategy we can use to overcome that obstacle?
Okay. Well, something that I recently learned is to this was really hard. What I recently learned is, like, we can't, like, name call what we're seeing. Like, we see it as domestic violence, but if the actual victim, survivor, whichever title, well, there is a significance of each title, but you have to, that's where the consent goes into play. Like, the actual individual has to identify what it is, because we may look at it as domestic violence, which it is, but that particular person in the relationship of that situation may call it something else. So you have to like meet an individual where they're at. We can't like jump the gun and be like, hey, you need help. You're gonna do this and this and this, and you're gonna come here. Cause then now you're the one in power. It's a
Mm.
power and control uh cycle. So you have to empower the individual by allowing that individual, especially when they're over a minor age, to be able to say what their needs are, what they want. They may not have said to you yet that I need you, I need your help, I need a place to stay. Can you help me? They may just be like, I just need to know, like when I call you, you'll answer or whatever it is. But our empathy plays a big role in our what we do, but we have to allow that individual to say exactly what they need help with. I know that sounds crazy. It sounds so crazy.
I gotta
But
say, I experienced something personally one time, and it totally blew me away. And if it hadn't been for a witness sitting right there listening to this woman tell me this, I people would have called me a lie. Me and my witness, we're actually cousins. He was
mhm,
at my house. Me and my girl got into, it was a while ago, got into an argument. And one thing I've never done, I've never laid hands on a woman in my life in any
that's
kind of
great.
violent manner, whoever. Okay, I can say that with a straight face. And she told me, she looked me in the face. She told me with all her passion and sincerity, "You don't love me. You ain't never hit me."
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah,
was
it's
blown.
conditioning.
I
It
was
can be.
Mm.
totally blown away. Say what? You don't love me. You ain't never hit me.
Oh yeah. I mean that to me is more like a Kevin speak on that because it's a lot of conditioning. There's people they're like put hands on me and grab me like you're raping me. Like there's people out there that like stuff like that. It can be some sort of trauma that has
How do you know
lied.
when you not, how do you know when you making somebody happy and or getting set up? That's where the problem comes in at. You think this, I watch SVU. Okay. She told me to choke her. She told me to slap her around. Here I am now in handcuffs. I thought we was having fun. She didn't tell me, she didn't say she was being raped. She was smiling, had a good time. And now all of a sudden I got a case. So how does a man navigate that situation? Y'all
I'm
quiet.
sorry. I don't
Look,
know.
look, I'll give you, look,
So
I'll give you the biggest one. I've
you
learned.
ask Oh wait, Kevin, I say ask a lawyer about that one.
Okay. Okay.
Look, I said this way. You know daggone well that whenever you get into a sexual encounter with a lady, and not you,
Mhm.
Lonzo, I'm just saying, this is just me. And she get talking about slap me around, it's like, nah, baby, I got to get up out of here. Because we already know how the system is set up. Like, if I put one bruise, especially light skin, you put one bruise on her, you can call the case. And
Yeah.
Well, it goes back to consent, and consent changes. It can change within minutes. Like, you may ask someone, "Do you want some ice cream?" And they say yes, but by the time you drive to the ice cream place, they change their mind. They don't want it. You know, it could be something so simple like you have to be okay with yes. Yes is a yes and a no is a no. And sometimes people tell you about yes or no through body language. It can be really challenging, but I think we all need to like focus on understanding consent. That's the key, consent, and it changes. Just like you said, Alonzo. 1 minute, your previous relationship or your current relationship was okay with the slapping and all this stuff, but then another time they weren't.
Yes.
So, and that's okay.
That's confusing. I came ready to box and you want to make love. This ain't gonna work.
Hey, it
I
is
come
what
ready
it is.
to get my Muhammad Ali love on, and you tell me you want to be all flappy dappy. He changed moods on me. Now I gotta go get some roses. Anyway,
Yeah. Yeah.
Or get the chains and whips on you.
Yeah,
yeah,
and also to what Kevin was saying. Now, I'm not an expert with domestic violence, right? But they go they like intersect with each other's. But a lot of times there are women too that hit guys. They hit
yes,
guys, and if you're conditioned to being slapped around as a kid, it's probably not a big thing. I don't know. I mean, I have an idea, but I'm not a counselor, so I
I
gotta,
can
yeah.
I can chime in on that one, because
come on,
Okay.
Kevin.
we teach about domestic violence. What's the funny, not funny, but a lot of times, like you said earlier, Bree, is conditioning. The child may have grown up in a household where the father beat on the mother or the mother beat on the father. It could be vice versa. And the
Mhm.
child was raised in an environment where they thought that was normal. So
Mm,
Right.
when they get into when they get into their own relationships, then they say, "Well, my daddy used to slap my mom upside her head, so I should better slap you upside your head." Now, mind you, get with a woman who ain't with that, and he might mess around, and get him a Layla Ali. He slap her, and next thing you know, he going
yeah,
about 3-4 rounds, looking like Mike Tyson after he gets done. But I mean,
Right.
that is, yeah, it could be like you said earlier, a conditioning that a person think it's the norm. So it's a psychological situation that you get into where um, if that's what you've been raised around, that could be the way you think a relationship should be.
so
Right. And the great, oh, sorry, Lonzo.
go ahead, go ahead.
I was just going to say the great thing about what you're saying, Kevin, is yes, there's a lot of conditioning, especially on that subject, but a lot of subjects. And the great thing about it is we all have a opportunity to reprogram ourselves, like we can break the cycle. Just because your grandmother died of diabetes doesn't mean you have to die of diabetes. Maybe we have to change how we eat. We need to change. So yeah, it happens a lot. Like people growing up, I've heard that a lot of stories shared to me about this is what happened in our household. We were taught not to talk about it, and that's why, as an outreach coordinator, I'm always trying to make sure the events that I host, they are family oriented, so that when the survivor is coming, right, it's a survivor led event, but it's also like you could bring your child or you could bring the husband, the boyfriend. All of you can come. That's what I'm here for, to help bring those resources, because there are couples that go through, abusive situations, but they do want to stay together. And how does that look? You get what I'm saying?
I got
Hmm.
you. I got you. Now, when you bring doing events, are we talking about private events or public events? Or what we a counseling session, or what we talking about?
Man, quit thinking about private events when she start talking about strippers, man. She talking about. Go ahead, Brie. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
I haven't made it there yet. I do work with police officers, and right now I'm doing public events. I'm doing public events with corporations,
Bring you froze up. She froze up. There you go. There you go. Just a little bit. That's okay.
Oh, okay. Well,
You
I
had a
was
good
saying,
picture. You're all right.
okay, I do have public events. They're at usually I try to have them at our rape crisis centers, so people are more familiar with where they can get services. And the services that we offer are counseling, case management, advocacy. We also do court accompaniment. Like if you need an advocate to be with you at the court to file a restraining order, especially if it is sexual assault related, but there was some domestic violence happening as well. Like we help with that. And I do a lot of healing arts activities like candle making, flower crown making,
Mm,
pottery, a lot of different things, using a lot of essential oils. And I try to align that with a PowerPoint presentation to make it fun but educational. So you're learning at the same time. Um, but yeah, everything's complimentary, which is great. And we also provide self defense classes. So I
okay.
definitely, want
let's
people to
talk
know
about
about that.
that self-defense class. Now, what you teach them? Karate, aikido, what judo? What you teaching them?
I teach them empowerment to let them know that you can use your body as your weapon. And it's not about going full strong fight to fight, right? But it's more like, let me help provide you some techniques that can help you escape. It can help you get away from a situation. It's not a guarantee, but it can be helpful. So I usually am teaching about where the weakness, like the weak areas are of a human body.
Mm,
And we do some practice techniques. It's basically the shortest session I do is a 2 hour session. I have a whole team. It's not just me, it's a whole team that are, certified and ready to go, ready to teach.
you know what? It sounds like to me, brothers gonads is in jeopardy on this conversation right here. This is not a good. This is not a good look for the twins. Okay, this could be pretty painful. There's only a hand. Well, there's several points, but there's always one they go for first. Okay, the neutralize.
Uh-huh.
Okay, and I can.
Yes.
I'm already cringing over here just listening to you talk. You ain't said nothing specific yet, but I understand what you're saying. Go ahead, dear.
Yeah. Yes,
Question.
and also like we also teach like scenarios, situations.
Okay.
Like if you're in your car, if you're someone comes from the behind you, or a lot of different things. It's a lot. It's fun, but it's only fun right now, because it hasn't happened. But the whole goal is to walk out confident and more prepared and more aware of your surroundings. That's key
Is
for
there
me.
an age? Is there an age limit in regards to ladies and young ladies who can actually come to your classes?
Well, I we teach elderly demographics, we teach people with disability, we teach people that are like teenagers, adults. A lot of women have enrolled into the class. I'm actually booked until January. There's a lot of different bookings, which is great. But our services we provide is from 12 years old and older. Anyone that's younger than 12, we like to what you call it, refer them to an organization that focuses on children. However, if you are a child, depending on your age, and make sure you have a guardian, I can teach you as well.
Okay.
Hmm.
Now I got a question. Do you teach women how to, I say, minimize their potential for being assaulted, but give them some advice on some things, some places, some things they might not want to wear, some places they may not want to go, some things they may not want to say. Because sometimes brothers can get misled. I'm not defending the brothers. I'm not condemning the sisters, but sometimes you think it's a green light and it's actually a orange light. It ain't yellow, it ain't green, but it's orange. And you find yourself in handcuffs because light turned red. You didn't know it turned red.
Ooh, that's great. I feel like you're opening doors for like a male agency to help with the men. But
Have
the
it.
goal for the women
Yeah.
is to
Go
be
ahead.
able to, the goal for the women, in my perspective, is to be able to wear whatever you want. Like, it's okay. Like for me, for example, um, when I used to walk past men, like let's say at a gas station or a convenience store or whatever, sometimes I noticed that I kind of wasn't all the way confident when I walked by them. Like there was some thoughts like, oh boy, here we go. But
Right.
now when I walk by men, first of all, I always treat men with respect. I treat people how I want to be treated. um but I also make sure I'm more aware, since I was more aware of how I was acting before. Now what I like to do is make conversation. Hi guys, how are you, how's your day? I actually really listen to how the day was. That's important. You got to listen to each other. That's really important. Listen, because if we listen more to each other, we would be more aware of like what you said. Even though she's wearing this or she's smiling a lot and showing me like she's flirting, you know, let me try to listen, like ask. It's okay to ask. Like ask before you assume that this is what she wants to happen. Before, you know, ask just to be safe. Like, is it okay if I give you a kiss? It, you know, when you're not sure, ask.
Could you sign this
And
document?
huh? What'd you say, Alonzo?
Could you sign this document, please? I'm asking for a kiss. I need you to sign this
No,
document. No.
no. Let me get the camera and film you. Make sure you said yes. No, no.
Now, you know what?
I'm kidding.
I have a different perspective. Well, not different perspective. I have a different experience. I'm one of the few guys that you may have known that I used to run a male strip club. So I've
Okay.
had different situations, scenarios that I've experienced that was like, I want to side with the guy, but I know he's wrong. But babe, you come here, you get this guy all your money, and then you got the girls who's hanging out, and he looking at the girls and the money that you gave him, and you telling him eyes up here. Why did you put them down there if you want me to look at your eyes? You should have did something different. And I've had to break up arguments, and I was like, from a male perspective, from a management perspective, I understand I have to defend her at all times, okay, at all costs. But as a man, I'm like, you should, if you had worn something, the turtleneck, he wouldn't be worried about looking at your breast. So, it's just, being that I've had to defend, I had to break up situations that were avoidable. And I think that's the key word here, avoidable. And if you can do something to avoid the situation, well, like my daddy always said, just because you can don't mean you should. That's all I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Just because you can don't mean you should. And sometimes people, men and women, put themselves in situations that they're not going to win no matter what happens. So you might as well stay away from it. Anyway, go ahead.
See, what are we taught in grade school, or I think elementary? Keep your hands to yourself.
Okay.
Uh-oh. Bree froze on us again.
It's a good picture.
Yeah. Thank God you're freezing on a good picture.
You're always freezing on a good picture.
Yeah. Yeah, I know when I freeze, I'll be looking all crazy and stuff.
The camera likes her.
Yeah.
She's gonna come back in just a second, folks.
I don't want you to touch me, or I don't. You have to listen to that and challenge it. Huh?
Oh no, you were froze for a second. That's all. You get froze for a second. We're just you just disappeared.
Now she left.
Me and you for a minute now, Doc.
I guess so, huh?
Yeah, my shit went out. Hold on, there I am. We both left at the same time.
Hopefully there she go. There she back.
There she go. Get back with
All
a
right.
on top of that. That's a good thing.
Okay. What I'm saying in a nutshell, Lonzo and Kevin, it doesn't matter what she's wearing. It doesn't matter if she's wearing nothing.
Okay.
Oh, you froze on us again, and you said nothing, and that just took a whole thought to my brain. Yeah.
Internet.
Why did you freeze on saying nothing?
Okay.
It's about consent. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, even if she's naked, it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter if she answers the door naked. It doesn't give anyone the right to come and start touching on her. That's hard to fathom, but it's
hard to fathom.
Yeah, but it's where we're at. We got to do
it. You would think if you saw somebody open a door like that, you would think that there would be a green light someplace in the building. Okay, I don't see a red light with butt naked at the front door. I'm trying to understand how are you naked at the front door and there's not some green in my life? Okay, again, consent is mandatory, but I would think it would definitely be some green lights going off somewhere in this building. Brothers would think that.
Or some baby oil getting splashed all over the place.
There you go. I wasn't even gonna go there with the baby oil. See?
Well, there you go. See?
And we are grown.
Yeah.
All jokes aside, I totally get what you're saying, Donna. I just like having a good time when I do a show, bring a little levity to it because it just makes it go. And time has gone by fast. We already at a half hour, whether you realize it or not.
Oh wow, that's great. Okay.
We got 5 seconds left to a half hour. Bree, tell them where they can find you at, darling.
Okay, everyone that's listening out there, you can find me. If you're on Instagram, look up the Robinson Team. The Robinson Team is my personal Instagram platform, but it's great to connect with me there because I'm always, displaying what I'm working on, events that you can attend, and that way we can stay connected. I'm also on Facebook and LinkedIn, but I think it's best to find me on Instagram.
Okay.
My email address, do you want me to share my email address?
Please.
Okay. My email address is my first name, BRENA, period, Robinson at ywcagla.org.
All right.
Okay.
And Kevin, where can we find you at, Doc?
Oh, you want to find me? People want to find me? Well, I guess so, huh?
Of course.
All right, well, you can find me on Instagram. It's Kevin R. Collins Sr. I don't have an email address. Well, I do, but I don't like giving it out. But you can. I don't have a website either. But you can always find me on Facebook. You can find me on Instagram. You can also find me on TikTok. That old dude. A lot of people see me up there, and you can always link up with me.
All right. Well, folks, thank you for the information. We're going to share it. I'm going to send you a link of this interview. You can share it with anybody you need to. Let's get the word out. Let's save some lives, keep people healthy, and let's get this mental health in order, folks. All right.
All right. Thank you.
For coming on.
Bye.
All right, Kevin. I see you when I see you, Doc. Thank you,
sir.
All right, Kevin. Stay up.